ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं त्रं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् मौनौ व्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम् वसिष्ठान्तेर्वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यविमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात्करणाद् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाचित्रघटोदरस्थितमहादीपप्रभाभास्वरं ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभात्येतत् समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः Stri balanta jadopamaasmaham branta brashamvadinah Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpitamaha Vyamoha Samharine Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. We completed half of the text. And how many months it has got? Now, Sri Bala Anta Jada Upamaha. People who think of the Atman as one's own body or prana, Deham pranam apindriya, Indriyani api chalam buddhim shunyam viduhu. These misconceptions are caused by the incomprehensibility of Maya. Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Mahavyoma. Mahavyamaha Vyamoha Vyamoha Viseshena Amohayati. Maya. The nature of Maya being that which is first to begin with incomprehensibility. Akatitana Ghatana Patiyasi. That which is not possible, it makes it possible, appears to be possible. So that is the nature of Maya, and even as human beings, why they do what they do, we cannot comprehend. Ishvara, you think about it. Even a person, how that person would behave, we cannot judge, or we cannot even imagine. In this variety of the universe, so many things are there, varieties of things, and so many things which we don't know also. Whatever we know also, it is so vast and innumerable. So the Maya's nature cannot be understood, much less we can understand the mind of Ishvara. So महाव्यामोह उसका कौन संहार कर सकता है? संहारिन है, संहारिन का है ईश्वर है। संहारिणे तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. So deham prana Indriya manah buddhihi chalam buddhihi iti vividaha, various varieties of comprehension or understanding of Atman that has been explained how they are not correct one by one, how Deha is not Atman, how Prana is not Atman, and how Indriyani cannot be Atman, how Manaha cannot be, and how Buddhi cannot be. Evamesha Mahamaya Vadinamapi Mohini Yasma Sakshat Kride Sadhya Liyate Cha Sadashive. Towards the end of last verse number 36 of the Ullasa, Dehendriyasu Hinaya Manat Dhura Sarupini, Jnanananda Swarupaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Now, the question still remains from the Buddhist standpoint, who very strongly held the Hindu land or Bharatiya land with their very logical arguments trying to prove the non-existence of Atman. Because their arguments were very independent of Vedic declarations, and slowly they have infused in the minds of the people. There is no need to blindly follow the Vedic statements which said to establish the Atman. While you start independently thinking, and you will realize there is no such thing called ultimate reality. They have established themselves for centuries, not 1 or 2 days, and they have occupied main portions of the maximum part of the Hindu land. It was dangerously growing. However, because of the advent of Bhagavad Pada, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, that's why he's considered as Avatara Purusha. He stood by himself to start with. And within a short period of time, he could send them off the shores. Nobody could do it. He could, because he did not use violence. He established by his sheer logic, with the same logic which they have used, proving how the Vedanta is, how the Upanishads are right, how the Rishi's statements are correct, how the Atman can be understood, realized. And the whole generation started to change because of him. And threw them out of the shores. And then obviously they have moved out to various other countries now. If you look at it, entire East, China, of that time, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Japan, entire East, Far East, all are occupied by this Buddhism. Had it been that one Shankaracharya in each country had born, they would have gone out. They were saved. Now, here in the beginning of the next verse, Atasashta Ullasaha, in the 6th chapter, explaining the 6th verse of the Dakshinamoorty Stotram as an introduction, there is a question from this Buddhist. Swapne Vishwam Yada Tatstam Jagratyapita Teti Chet Sushupto Kasya Kim Bhati Kastayi Tatra Chetanaha. Swapne Yata Vishwam Tat Stam. Swapne, in the state of dream, it is said, according to you, Swapne Kutrastitam Jagat. Where is this word established in the state of dream? Or even in the time of waking, where this entire universe has the substratum? According to you, the Buddhists would say, according to you, it is Ishvara. Tat stam, Ishvara stitam, Jagratyapi tata iti chet, in case. In the case of waking and the dream, according to you, the substratum is Ishvara, on which the entire universe is being. Because anything to be there, there should be support. If that is the truth, Sushupto, of the time of the sleep, Kasya Kim Badi, Kasya Badi Kim Badi, Kahastai Tatra Chetana. Three questions he raised here. In the state of deep sleep, Kim Badi, what is that which is said to be an experience? Kasya, for whom? In other words, what is there in the state of sleep? Kaha sthayi tatra. Kaha chetanaha tatra sthayi. At that time, what is remaining constant at that time of sleep? Who is seeing this sleep, or who is experiencing the sleep, and what is being experienced? And if it is experienced, somebody must be there continuously to experience that sleep. So, what is that constantly there even in sleep? The Buddhists trying to establish that just like in sleep, everything disappears. According to them, in sleep, there is no object experienced. Subject is also not experienced. I am sleeping is not an experience of anybody. I slept is the experience. I am walking, I am talking, I am seeing, etc. I can be understood. But I am sleeping is not an experience. That is to say, subject as well as object, both are absent. That means there is absence. What has been there becomes absent. Who has been there becomes absent. If something becomes absent at some point of time, its original presence must be questioned. A thing is there, after some time it is not there, cannot have a sustained existence. That means what? It is kshanikam. It is there, not there. There, not there. So that means it is momentary. It is not permanent. So this is the standpoint of Kshanikavadins. One of the Buddhist schools says that momentary reality. Sarvam kshanikam kshanikam. Everything is momentary. It will be established now slowly. And another set of people would say, I would not accept it as even kshanikam. That is also mental composition. It's shunyam. Nothing is there actually. It's all imagined. One's own existence is also imagined. So therefore he says, Sarvam chakshanikam shunyam Sarvameva swalakshanam Sangata paramanunam Mahyam Bagni Samirana Sarvam Kshanikam. All of them are temporary, momentary. And because it is subject to absence, even when we are seeing it, it's actually void. It's shunyam. The momentary appearance is also an imagination of the mind Really speaking, there is only absence, and therefore they also call it as shunyam. Obviously, there are some differences in between these two different schools of Buddhism. And also what they establish is sarvameva swalakshan. Even that appearance, momentary appearance, is not created by any person. Everything that come to experience, come to be appearing, need not have to have reality called existence. Because Vedanta holds the view, Paramatma Brahmanaha Swarupam Sat. Sat existence. Irrefutable existence. Meaning it does not become absent at any time. That is what is called Sat. Trikale api abhadita vastu. In the 3 periods of time, it never disappears. That is Sat. But they question that Sat itself, because nothing has constant existence. Therefore, what you call it as Sat, as the nature of Atma, is not established to be there when things come and go, when they appear and disappear. And when they appear on their own, they appear. When do they disappear? On their own they disappear. See, when you go to sleep, you are not making any effort to make everything disappear, do you? And when you wake up, are you making any effort to make them all appear? When you wake up, wait, I have to put a lot of effort to make all of them appear. Or when you go to sleep, are you putting any effort to make them disappear? So on what basis they appear and what basis they disappear? On their own. Swalakshan. So there is no need for Ishvara to create and sustain and destroy. What is the need for that? There is no Ishvara. There is no need for a God to make it come into existence, create, nor there is a need for an Ishvara to make it all disappear. Swalakshanam. Sarvam swalakshanam eva. Now, we must understand that Buddhism also has has to establish that there is a world inside and world outside. The world inside consists of individuals' thoughts, emotions, feelings, perception, all that. And external world, which is a physical matter world. Even though they are all momentary, the momentary appearance of things must have some external material cause. And internally, when I'm experiencing the world, my own thought world, emotions and feelings, and the way I perceive things, they also must have an internal cause. So the way they explain this is, external world is the appearance and disappearance of objects are caused by movement of the anu, paramanu. Sangadaha paramanu nam. Sangadaha paramanu. Paramanu nam sangadaha. So if there is the earth, water, fire, etc., they are all appearances based upon certain combination that happens randomly. Mahi, Amba, Agni, Mahi, Amba, Agni, Samiranaha. Mahi means earth, Amb means water, Agni, fire, Samirana means fire, air. So earth, water, fire, air, these are all sanghataha, the compounds of the atoms. Anunam sanghataha, paramanunam sanghataha. Atom, they have already understood what atoms are at that time. It was already established by Kanaka Rishi. And they picked up from that point, saying that because they are also not those who believed in existence of God, Paramanu Vadinaha. So Anu is the cause, and Anu in the sense that it is atom particles that appear, and atom particles are incomprehensible anyway. When they condense themselves, when they come together, they have an appearance of solid reality. And then they disappear. They don't have any more solid reality. This is what is experienced as the world. So external world is combination of anus when they come to become a compounded solid matter. And these combinations are earth, water, fire, air, etc. Space obviously is not accounted for because it is not comprehended, experienced. So they do not take into consideration. Now, when it is said compounds coming together, they don't change themselves. The atoms don't change their nature. Atoms come together to solid, and like you take a, what do you call that, plaster of Paris or whatever, you take it in your hand and make a form. The plaster of Paris has make itself appear as a form, but when they, again you take them out, it is still plaster of Paris only, nothing has changed. They have not modified themselves to become something. They are remaining in their own nature. They come together to make a form and then disappear and undergo no changes. Even though compounded, they do not influence each other. Now, having said this, Swalakshanam, when it is said, Sarvameva Swalakshanam, there is some interesting point here. The existence of objects do not depend upon the perceiver. Whereas Vedanta holds the view, unless there is consciousness, there is no object perceived. Their established fact is, or the theory is, consciousness is the support of the existence of the world. For if there is no consciousness, there cannot be perceiver of that object. Therefore, the object is subject to be doubted whether it is there or not. Whereas Buddhism of this momentary reality, the Shranikavadin would say, there is no need for a consciousness for the objects to remain or not to remain. It is independent of it. Because if you want to establish consciousness is necessary as a support for the objects to exist, there's no need for that. Swalakshanam. This is also another important point which they propose. Now, having said that Paramanu is the cause for the external world of objects, compounding, come together and go differently, and there's a disappearance. What about the individual you and I, where Vedanta establishes that Paramatma is there and this consciousness alone is functioning through the equipments, is making the individual able to experience the world through the senses, through the body, through the mind, through the buddhi, intellect, etc. So we, according to Buddhists, they say you are assuming the existence of consciousness, which is not proved, as the very substratum for individuals to exist. It is not necessary that there need to be a consciousness. There are 5 aspects of a individual who together make the individual experience anything. There is no need for consciousness. Who are the 5 or what are the 5? They are called Panchaskandaha. That is a technical word that they use, Panchaskanda. So now you see in the next verse it says, Manushyadi Sharirani Skanda Panjaka Samhatihi Skandascha Rupa Vijnana Sanya Samskara Vedanaha. Every living person or being is made up of 5 skandhas. Manushyadi Sharirani. Manushya Adi. So all the mrigas and all other living beings are all included here. Manushyadi Sharirani Skanda Panchaka Samhatihi. Samhatihi, assembly, coming together, compound. Samyak Hataha Samhataha. Here Samhataha should not be understood as Sangha, it's not killing or destruction. Sangha, it should be understood as Sangha. So, assembly of 5 aspects, and these 5 skandhas are skandhascha, rupa, form, vijnana, rupa, vijnana, third, sanya, fourth, samskara, and 5th is vedana. Interesting, this is how they analyze. There is no real word or there is no consciousness involved in any of the 5. And without the consciousness, with these 5, it is possible for us to experience it. So, how is this? So, you see here, Buddhism essentially is called atheists. Buddhists are atheists for 2 reasons. One, they do not accept the authority of the Vedas. Second, they do not accept God. God or the ultimate reality is not true. And there are no scriptures which actually to be taken as the authority to prove God or reality. Let us look at it very critically here. Can there be understanding of God without the authority of Vedas? In the Vedanta, we clearly say Upanishadeva Pramanam. Upanishad Pramanam. Ajnada Vastu Pramanam Upanishad. Ajnada Vastu means unknown. Ajnada Vastunaha Pramanam Vedanta or Upanishad. What is unknown, for that the pramana is Veda. In the Vedas it is about God, Ishvaraha. In Vedanta it is Brahman. See, let us not put the cart before the horse. You cannot say God is and Vedas prove it. Or can we say Vedas are there, their main point is God. Now, if you go to a person, total novice, completely one does not know anything about God, or where do you begin? You cannot begin with Vedas. Because he would say, what is the relevance of Vedas for me? Why should I study Vedas? To know God. And the next question, why should I know God? Isn't it those who do not believe in religion or anything? So what is the relevance for him about the Vedas? They know. Because I don't study something unnecessarily when I'm not interested in what it teaches. Do you know astrology? No. Why? I don't want to. So why should I spend time in studying astrology when I'm not interested in it? So if I'm not interested in God, then what is the relevance of Veda? So let us understand. First of all, Vedas are relevant or Vedanta study is important only when one is interested in mukti. Self-realization or mukti is a point, that's a mumukshutvam is important for one to even take interest in study. Now, what Buddhists would say, what you call it as liberation, what we call it as nirvana, does not require God or Vedanta or Vedas, whatever. We will provide you enough material to think how to obtain nirvana without the help of God or scriptures. This is how they establish themselves. अरे क्यों करते हो इतना इतना काम? Why so much of rituals you are doing, with the prayer you are doing, and then worship you are doing, all the fasting and feasting and festivals and all the, for what? Entertaining. Mukti चाहिए आपको, nirvana. We'll tell you. Is it not in nowadays also? Many of the so-called new age gurus, they do not want to accept Vedas. They do not want to accept Vedanta. They say, we'll tell you, pranayam karo. मुक्ति मिल जाएगा आपको. So obviously they are all pseudo form of this fellows only. So why study is important? Why Vedanta is important? Why and knowledge is important? All these sadhanas are why they are important. So Shankaracharya's main point is mukti is avashyakam, no doubt. And how it can be obtained only by realizing Brahman. And how that Brahman can be understood? By the correct understanding of Vedanta. So please, therefore, we should not get carried away. Explanations will be very good. But what they consider as the mukti or nirvana is not proven to be true. It can be a state of mind. And that is also only temporary experience. As much as in today's world also many gurus of such kind would come and say that, okay, do increase this chakra and go to that chakra and usko chakra mein wo aapko laga denge. go to this one, that one, this movement of this energy, that energy, and then it will be another kind of experience. It's as much as taking some, pill or any drug, where which will also create an illusion of some freedom. So here they explain that there are 5 skandhas, 5 aspects which are considered to be a compound of them, which considered to be the individual being. And what are those? Rupa skandha, Vijnana skandha, Sanya skandha, Samskara skandha, and Vedana skandha. Skandha very word means support. Skandha, it's a shoulder. Basically, shoulder is called skandha. Bhagavan Subramanya is a skandha. Why is skandha? Because he supports the entire Sena of Shiva. Shiva Senapati he is. So he is the commander general of the entire army of Shiva. So he is called skandha. The shoulder is called skandha because it supports. When you carry something, it supports. As much as the entire individual experience is supported by 5. Rupa, Samyana, Vijnana, Rupa, Vijnana, Sanya, then Samskara and Vedana. What are these? Each individually we see here. Rupyanta idi rupani Vishayaschendriyanyapi Vishayendriyayor jnanam Vijnanaskanda uchyate. Whatever is perceived, the perceived objects as well as the perceptors, the sense organs, together formed Rupa Skandha. Rupyante, that which have form, iti Rupani. Those which have form are, because even the perception of objects takes a form. Our eyes having a formation in our mind as thoughts, and that is also another form. So external object as form, our mind also takes the form of the object while perception takes place. Therefore, the organs as well as the objects together form Rupa Skandha. Vishayascha Indriyani api. Vishayaha Indriyani api. The objects as well as the sense organs together. And the next one is the knowledge of what it is taking place in our buddhi. That is called Vijnana Skandha. Vishayendriya yoho jnanam Vijnana Skandha uchyate. Vishayascha Vishayendriya yoho, of the Vishayas, objects, and also of the senses, together forming a concept, an idea of I know, and that knowledge is called Vijnana Skandha. According to Buddhism, this is the second skandha. So all worldly experiences divided into 3 parts: Vishayaha, objects; sense organs, which are perceiver of the objects; and knowing what it is, that takes place in the buddhi as the third. Three of them. These 3 together become part of the 2 skandhas, Vishaya Skandha, Rupa Skandha and Vijnana Skandha. All right. Samya Guna Kriya Jati Visishta Pratyayatmika Panchadha Kalpana Prokta Sanyaskandasya gang sogataihi. Saugataihi. Saugataha are those who are atheists. Atheists are referred as Saugataha. Saugataihi, by those atheists, Proktaha are spoken, but Panchada Kalpana Prokta. Oh, it is feminine. So Proktaha, it's not a visarga. Panchada of 5 kinds, Kalpana, the aspects are constituents are prokta, are spoken by the atheists as belonging to Sanyata Skanda, Sanya Skanda. So broadly, they divide any experience taking place through the senses and formation of thought in the mind as 5 of them. What are these? Sanya, name; Guna, quality; Kriya, action; Jati, species; Vishishta Pratyaya, and what is it that has a distinction from others. Name, quality, action, species, and its distinct quality. Distinct, how it is distinct from others. These 5 make us able to see things different from each other. So now he gives an example about that. Gavam gauriti samyokta jati gautvam tu gaugatam guna shukladayastasya gacchatyadhyastata kriyaha. So a cow, for example, gavam gauridi samyokta. So the cow is, cows plural, gavam, gaur iti, gauridi samyokta. Gau in Sanskrit is in English cow. And sanya means name, nama. So gavam gauridi samyota, a cow is known as cow, that's the name. And what jati, it becomes gautvam. Gautvam is the jati. It is a species of a domesticated animal, cow. And so sanya and the jati are already taken care here. And Gautva is Gaugatam. In all the cows, it is of the same nature, we will find. Therefore, they are all together belong to one species. What is the guna? Shukladaya. The color of the skin, white, etc. So that makes the guna, quality of the cow. Shukladaya. Tasya gacchati adi tata kriyaha. Movement, etc. are considered as its kriya, action. There are others also giving milk, producing milk, and other things are also included in that. What is the distinguishing quality of the cow than the other species of the similar one? Shringi, next one. Shringi chadushpa tadushpa languli Vishishta pratyayo hyasau evam panchavidak triptihi sanyaskanta iti riyate. Shringa means the horn. It has horn, Shringi. Chadushpat, which has four-legged. Languli, having a tail. These are all called Vishishta Pratyaya, distinguishing qualities. He asau of this. In this way, Sanya, Guna, Kriya, Jati, Vishishta Pratyaya of every object are taken up. So this is what is known as the Sanya Skanda. If you look at carefully, the way the science has proceeded in the world is by dividing everything into certain categories. Gas, liquid, solid, for example, broadly speaking. And then each one of them is further divided. In the gas also there are divisions. In the density or the solid there are divisions. In the liquid there are divisions. They keep on dividing and dividing and dividing, distinguishing specific qualities which makes one different from another. Finally, everything in this world has been classified into certain categories. So this kind of categorization makes it clear that individual objects exist with certain qualities. As we know, in the absence of that distinguishing quality, that object does not seem to have anything of its own individual existence. When they lose that quality, they merge with something else. So there are given names. If you look at, sometime when you go to a doctor and you say cold, they have a technical name for that. You will never understand what they mean. And the two doctors, when they talk on these things, you will wonder, are they talking about me or something else? Because they have technical words and for every, their own vocabulary they have. That's why the software engineers also have the same situation. They say something, speak to me in English. No, what are they saying? Because they have if that HTBT is not working with the IDTT, that's why this XKVIT is not doing this YKSZ work. What is that? Tell me what in English. Don't speak to me in Greek. Sometimes, you wonder whether they are actually fooling you or they are really serious about it. So science has classified the world of objects and making sure that everything is individually accounted for. And they also know in the absence of the distinguishing quality, it will merge with something else and it cannot be separated out. In the same way here, the Buddhists have established that name, quality, function, nama or sanya, guna, kriya, jati, what species, and then Vishishta Pratyaya. So this way, evam panchavida kliptihi. So these different kind of 5 different kinds of find different kinds of find aspects of the things of objects which limit them, which make them limited to that aspect only. Triptihi sanyaskanda iti iryate is spoken. That is called as sanyaskanda. So this way they understand about the third skanda, rupa skanda, second aspect, rupa skanda and sanya skanda, vijnana skanda, the third. So first one is the Rupa Skanda, which is about the form, sense objects and the sense organs. Then comes Vishayendriyayoho Jnanam Vijnana Skanda, in general understanding of what it is, and then going into the specific details of distinguishing features, including the 5 aspects, 4 plus 1. So that makes the Sanya Skanda. So 3 of them are done. Then comes other 2, Ragadhya Punya Papecha Samskara Skanda Uchyate Sukam Dukkam Cha Mokshascha Skandasyat Vedanahvayah. Now, when it comes to individuals, not all of them like the same thing, not all of them hate the same thing. So, raga adhyaha, attachment, etc., also individually acquiring according to their actions, punya and papa, merit and demerits. This constitutes samskara skanda. Here, samskara skanda to be understood as the impressions created in the mind of the individual based upon the way the individual engages in this world through attachment or aversion, through doing what is meritorious, or through doing what is causing harm to others. These impressions are going to become part of the personality there. Because Buddhism believes in karma. That will come to that a little later, how that is established. Then the reaction to those experiences in the form of Sukham and Dukkham and Moksha. So-called liberation or joys and sorrows experienced while interacting with the world. Sukham Dukkham cha Mokshastha Skandaha Syad Vedana Skanda. It's called Vedana Kvaya, known as Vedana Skanda. In Vedanta, Vedana means suffering or feeling. In words, in some of the Indian languages, Vedana is a feeling, suffering, sorrow. But here, Vedana should be understood as the individual's experience of the world while experiencing, not what the impressions are created. While experiencing, what is it? Joy or sorrow, feeling liberated or conditioned. So these constitute the Vedana Skanda. Now, therefore, these 5 alone are there in an individual. Beyond that, there is nothing. As much as science would say, you are only made up of physical body, physical system, physiological system, psychological system. That's it. Beyond that, there is nothing. Because they don't believe in rebirth, obviously. So what you have is intellectual or intellectual layer of yours, which has knowledge and experience, and mind, which has feelings, emotions, and body, and physiological, if they want to use that as a breathing air, etc., which is part of the physical body. So physical, physiological, then psychological. That's all. Beyond that, there is nothing. So here also, beyond this Panchaskanda, there is nothing else. Panchasya eva skandayebhyaha nanya atmasti kaschana na kaschit ishvara karta swagadadishayam jagat. Panchabhyaha skandebhyaha anyaha atma kaschana na asti. Other than these five skandhas, panchabhyah skandebhyah anyah na atma asti kaschana. Other than these five alone, panchabhyah eva, panchabhyah eva, skandabhyah, there is no other thing which is to be understood or to be taken up as or to be imagined as called Atma. And Atman is not established to be there in the individual, a living being. In the whole world also there is no other Karta. The real doer is not some other external individual. These five aspects of the personality alone is necessary and complete in an individual, and there is nothing else, and that nothing else means what? There is no other karta, doer, and the universal doer, you call it as Ishvara, is also not necessary here, because that is not, if Atman is not established, individual soul is not established, where is the question of universal soul then? So therefore, na kaschid Ishvaraha karta. There is no real Ishvaraha who is considered as the ultimate doer. Why? Swagata adishayam jagat. Jagat, this word is swagata adishayam. Swagata, on its own, going on its own, of its own, adishayam, remaining. Remaining or self-established. Atishayam also means its own glory, greatness. It remains in its own greatness. There is no need for a God to engage this world into whatever it is. So this, many people who have very bitter experience in this world, some tragedy and things are not going well. Kaya Ishwar, Kaya, what is God? If God is really there, He should have taken care of these problems. Look at what is going on in, Russia, and what's a fight is going on between Israel and Palestine, and then Russia, and then everywhere people are being killed, innocent people are killed, and this is going on, that is going on. If there is really God, then this should not have happened. So everything is happening on its own. Nobody is there to control anything. So mind would take to such kind of a thought process, would say there's no need for somebody, because everything is controlled by not any individual. On their own, everything is happening. So there is no need for a Ishvara as an external powerful person or being or power to make everything happen, individually as well as collectively in this world. So we'll see more of it, how this Buddhist view are first of all established, then slowly Shankaracharya will prove how this is wrong, this thought process is wrong. For us it is important to the extent that we will be able to have clarity in our mind. It should not come to same doubt. Yes, I think they are right. At some point of time, you may get the similar doubt. So that's why Shankaracharya makes sure that such doubts should be destroyed. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha.